Hello everyone, welcome back. This is InugamiTheHound. This time I'm doing some reaction content here on Christmas. I think that'll be fun. I've uploaded some new stuff to my Patreon. So if you've been following me, and you'll be familiar with you guys. If not, please let me know. Maybe I'm not doing a good enough job showing my stuff. Let's see, what should I watch? Being interesting. Oh, you're fine. You're right on time. Let's see. Gotta be something good. Let's see. Thank you. No problem, no problem. Let's see. Decline of Party City. What happened? Let's check this out. Alright, let's
Open source AI is an open invitation.
see. What happened to him? What happened?
Party City might not be around for much longer. In December of 2024, the company announced that it would be filing for bankruptcy.
Let me slow that down a little bit.
This time winding down operations by closing all of its stores. Yeah, unless something major happens, like a buyer swooping in to rescue the business, this is really looking like the end of the line. The current plan is to hold going out of business sales to liquidate all the existing merchandise and over the next few months shut everything down. Party City is the biggest store of its kind with about 800 locations spread across the
800
United States, easily
locations?
qualifying this as a major retail bankruptcy. I have seen a lot of comments requesting that I make this video.
WTF, 800 locations. How the hell do you have 800 locations and fail this badly? What did you guys do so badly?
And I'm happy to do it because Party City has been an eventful story. Actually, I already made a video about Party City back in 2018, and this is the perfect opportunity to follow up on it because things have gone very bad from that point. 2018 was arguably the biggest year for the company. They reported their highest sales ever of $2.4 billion while operating more stores than ever. It's kind of sad because in the 1990s, the founder of Party City, Steve Mandel, said that he wanted the company to ultimately grow to 1,000 1,000 locations, and after coming so close, it is now looking like that may never happen. Party City has recorded multiple goodwill impairment charges since 2018, totaling over $1.5 billion,
Nothing in
essentially
2021.
recognizing that it has lost most of its value. I mean, the stock price was already falling in 2018, but it got much worse from there, dropping down to practically nothing by the end of 2022. Then, at the start of 2023, they filed for bankruptcy, reportedly reducing their $1.7 billion in debt by about $1 billion, which sadly was not enough to recover the situation. They continued.
Yeah, I don't have any headphones on. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. You have no headphones? Alright, sure. You can lower it down. I mean, I lower down the YouTube video because it's pretty loud. I turned it down quite a bit.
Closing stores, laying off employees, and struggling to make payments. So here, we are almost 2 years later, and things are looking worse than ever. So in this video, I want to talk about what has been going on with Party City, while identifying what I believe to be 5 of the biggest reasons behind its decline.
Let's see. Did anyone buy out Party? Not Party City. Like, I'm guessing no venture capital bought Party City. Party City. I'm guessing it is failing just because they haven't recovered from. Because they haven't really recovered from 2020. I mean, 2018 they did pretty well, but in 2018 still wasn't the heyday back in the 90s and early 2000s.
Starting off with some various external factors. I'm lumping all of these together because most of the issues with Party City stem from within the company, but I do want to recognize that there have been some factors beyond their control that
I think one of the biggest factors, I don't know if he's going to talk about it, is just unfortunately people aren't having families. They aren't going to buying party supplies. Millennials can't buy homes, so you can't have a party at home or a party at at some place. Yep, yeah, they do. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the biggest reasons. I think that's the reason why a lot of these, casual restaurants, like sit-down restaurants and Party City, Big Lots, a lot of them rely on families, and unfortunately, millennials aren't having families. We have too much debt, not good job prospects, stuck renting instead of buying. So yeah, it's really stacked against us. So it makes it hard for us to go out and buy a sofa, a couch, love seats, an ottoman, pots and plants, fake pots and plants, and you need tables, you need chairs, and all these things. Instead, we buy because we're renting in an apartment. You only need a few items. You only need a simple couch, a simple chair, a little bit of cutlery, a crappy table. You already have a fridge and a microwave and a stove, so you can't buy those. If you want to wash your clothes, you have to go to the communal washroom to wash your clothes, or go to a local laundromat. I mean, that's what I think.
I believe have complicated things enough to justify being on the list. Maybe the most obvious one being the pandemic. In 2020, Party City reported their lowest sales figures since a decade earlier because clearly people were having fewer parties during that time, and that is bad news for a party supply store. That's all pretty straightforward.
Let's see. Let me see. Let me see. I'm gonna put my 2 cents in here. Maybe you don't care. Party. let's see. No, Party City. Big lots. Press. Yeah. Oh yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That's gonna be my 2 cents. Enjoy.
Forward, inflation has been another factor. Well, not the literal inflation of the party balloons, but, prices going up. In September of 2024, the newly appointed CEO said consumers continue to feel pressure on their budgets in an environment of uncertainty, sometimes making joyous occasions feel stressful due to affordability, which I would say is understandable. Another external factor that you might not think about has been helium shortages. So here, I actually am talking about the literal inflation of the balloons. This very thing has been mentioned on their annual reports as a risk factor going back to 2015 because those balloons account for something like 4% of their sales each year. So these have all been things pushing against the company.
Yeah, and also all the fucking waste, all the plastic waste from all this shit you see here. That's one thing. All the waste from the balloons, all the waste of the helium. Yeah, man. That shit ain't good. Especially the helium, man. You need that helium.
That I would say have combined to make a bad situation even worse. Going back to the list, another major reason behind the decline of Party City has been inventory reports. Now,
Hey.
I'll admit I'm going way back with this one, but when looking at the company in its entirety, this was arguably the biggest event before those bankruptcies and set things along a very different path. In the 1990s, Party City had been expanding like crazy, starting the decade with 11 locations and ending it with almost 400, which proved to be too much to handle. In 1996, Party City had an initial public stock offering, raising over $15 million to further expand things. Once it was a public company, investors needed to be kept up to date about things, so legally it needed to file reports in a timely manner. Well, they were not tracking their inventory properly, which led to a delay in their reports, which led to the trading of the stock being suspended, problems with creditors, changes in equity, and ultimately the founder, chairman, and CEO Steve Mandel left his positions. A new leader was then brought in who redesigned the stores among other things, so almost everything that happened with Party City since the 1990s almost certainly would have been different had they been able to track that inventory more efficiently. And you will see the scope of this a little better as I go through the remaining reasons on my list. The next one being competition. Party City started in 1986 when all of these category killers, as they are called, were emerging. The trend at the time was to find a category of retail and make a big store centered around it that used economies of scale to offer the customer lower prices and a wider selection. Some examples of this would be Best Buy for electronics or Toys R Us for toys. I think that Steve Mandel recognized that there were not any of these stores when it came to party supplies. The only real competition was smaller local stores, or maybe half an aisle at the Walmarts. And he was right. The public responded to the prices and selection at Party City, which were typically more attractive than anywhere else, and that is why they were able to grow so aggressively. And even though there still are not any comparable national chains when it comes to party supplies, the market has become much more competitive. The discount stores like Walmart have expanded their selection over the years, drugstores like Walgreens offer a lot more than they used to, and obviously online retailers have been taking away market share. These have all been issues for many other category killers in their own respective markets as well. But the most concerning competitor has probably been Spirit Halloween, given that Halloween has typically been Party City's busiest time of the year, accounting for something
Really?
like 20%
Did not know
of
that.
all sales. To this day, I'll admit that whenever I hear the name of the store, I instantly start humming the song Thriller because of that one commercial from many years ago. In fact, I released that video in 2018 on Halloween because I felt that it would be a fitting date. They even started kind of a spin-off store called Halloween City that used to open hundreds of locations every year that has not been doing well. Today, Spirit really seems to be the new go-to destination for Halloween. 1,500 of them pop up each year, making them twice as common as
What? 1,500 stores for Spirit Halloween just for one day? I mean, I think they pop up like what, 2 months before, and they sell everything, and then they just disappear, right? I think we had a Spirit, Spirit Halloween pop up, and it's gone now already. Yeah, man, that's crazy. I didn't know Spirit Halloween was that popular. 1,500 stores, that's a lot.
Party City during that time, and in my experience anyway, those Spirit Halloween stores tend to be more fun and offer a better selection. Let me know if you agree with that, but they have been so successful that they are even experimenting with Christmas stores. So I don't know, given the way things have been going, I feel like Spirit might be on track to be the new Party City. What I'm trying to say here is maybe somebody does have more party for less. The next reason on my list behind the decline of Party City is a new owner. I'll admit that it gets a little tricky here, but in 2005, Party City was bought by AAH Holdings, a company owned by two different private equity firms.
Ah,
They paid
damn, of course.
$360 million for it, which was a 42% premium over the stock price. Likely a big reason that they were willing to pay so much for it is because they were already the owners of a party supply manufacturer, so there was potential there for vertical integration. So shortly after the deal, Party City and that supplier made a deal where they would start supplying about 80% of their merchandise. And that could be seen as a very good thing financially, because owning both the retailer and the company that supplies the retailer is a huge money saver. But founder Steve Mandel says that he believes that this deal restricted Party City as far as the variety of items that they can sell. They're buying most of their stuff from one supplier. So I think that shows how Steve Mandel would have run things differently had he remained in charge of the company, and potentially how this new owner is indirectly responsible for letting the competition catch up. My final reason behind the decline of the company, honestly, might be the most impactful one on the list, and the one I'm going to talk about the most: a new owner. Yeah, again, I have it on the list twice, which right there suggests potential instability and lack of a consistent vision. Having new owners and leaders coming through makes it difficult to follow through with long-term plans, but there are multiple aspects to this. The reason that any company files for bankruptcy is because they cannot keep up with their debts. So I think you'll agree that a logical place to look for clues would be a graph displaying how much debt they have had each year. And when I do that, it really looks like something happened around 2012 and 2013, given that it just about doubled to an all-time high during those years. Well, it turns out that the majority of Party City was bought by another private
Michael Ehrman
firm in 2012
for $2.7 billion.
$2.7 billion deal that was mostly leveraged, meaning the big jump in the graph can mostly be attributed to this acquisition. And to take it even a step further, the following year, Party City added over $300 million in debt to pay a dividend that went to the company's owners. Now, in 2015, I do want to point out that they had another public stock offering that was used mostly to bring that debt back down some, but clearly it was still too high. Since that acquisition in 2012, Party City has averaged over $100 million per year in interest expense, making it difficult to do, well, anything financially. The bankruptcy filing said that they have between 10,000 and 25,000 creditors that they simply cannot afford to pay. The current CEO said that the company has done everything possible that we could to try to
Oh yeah.
avoid this outcome. And I'm sure that is true in the short term. They have done everything they can to try to climb out of this hole, but the real issue was probably digging that hole in the first place. You know, it is crazy to think about how different this video is ending compared to my video from 6 years ago, so you can never tell how things are going to go. Maybe Party City is somehow going to find a way to recover, and I'll have to make part 3 in the series in the year, I guess, 2030. That is not necessarily my prediction, but tell me if you think otherwise. And also, let me know in the comments, what do you think about Party City? Are you sorry to see it go? Are you going to miss that Candy City section that would sell individual candy pieces? That was always my favorite part. Or do you think that it is easily replaceable? The numbers suggest that many of us have already started going to Spirit Halloween or the internet or wherever else in place of Party City.
I mean, can't remember last time I went. I think yeah, I've been inside a Party City to buy like party supplies or like some like paper plates or forks or spoons. Like I think they had something for like Ramadan or Eid or something like that. They never had that before. They never had like where you go inside a store and buy that type of stuff. Most of that stuff was just never available here.
Oh, and if you are one of the 16,000 employees of the company, you are among the most affected by it. So I'm curious to hear any thoughts you have about this situation. As always, I want to make it clear that this is not a complete list of everything contributing to their downfall. It is only the reasons that I believe to be the most significant and the most interesting. Tell me if you think that something should be added or subtracted from it. And any other thoughts you have about Party City or anything else in this video, leave them in the comments. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Merry Christmas, and thank you for watching.
In just 5 years, we will produce 100% green energy. Together, we can create a greener future, one tiny tree at a time.
No one cares. Let's see. That is true. Dollar Tree does have like party supplies for $1.25, but sadly, the biggest problem of Dollar Tree is like there's no employees. I'm guessing they have party supplies. I'm guessing it's mostly like kids parties. I'm guessing do they not have anything for like something else? You should do big lots. Yeah. Mountain Dew, why are they successful? Combination. Yeah, I fucking love Mountain Dew. I'm currently working for Party City, so I guess I have a unique perspective. One of the things that threw everyone here for a loop in August, we started doing innovation at many occasions in NY. At some point around October, New Year, I was supposed to come around a store inspector. I mean, he never made it to my store. There was always some excuse to it. And apparently he didn't like the renovation in his store, so they wanted to do an renovation on top of it. And we all found out Thursday at my store. He found out around like 9 a.m. Nearly crying the entire time. One girl from corporate came in a few days later saying that one got laid off. Found out all I know is we're still doing online orders, not delivery until January 2nd. Whether we have stock left or not, we'll be closing our doors on February 28th. If anyone has any more questions, alright, damn, that sucks. They actually did renovations. That's crazy. They did renovations and like, yeah. Yeah, nope. Let's see. Yeah, yeah, that's um yeah, I know a lot of people went for Party City to get balloons, which makes sense. I mean, but yeah, a bunch of other party supplies. I mean, obviously Walmart, Walgreens have party supplies, Dollar Tree has party supplies. But getting those balloons are important. But unfortunately, helium shortage sucks ass. After party. Oh man. Decline of Blimpies. What happened? Oh yeah. What did happen to this store? I heard it, but I've never ate there.
Get my money right to achieve my
Are
ambitions.
they still around?
Like earning more money on my money as a head chef. Ready for service?
Why do they make me watch this long, unskippable fucking ad? Fuck you, SoFi. In my opinion, all these ads should be like 10 seconds. That's it.
Blimpie, I'm guessing is a name that you have not thought of in a while, but they used to be one of the largest chains of sub sandwich restaurants in the United
Is
States.
Blimpie still around? Let me look it up. Blimpie. Let's see. Blimpie Wikipedia page. Well, they've closed down. Looks like the stores went down. Revenue went up. About 1,000 employees. Let's see. Blimpie store locator. Alright, damn it. I don't know with all that shit.
It's widely known for their best-selling trademark sandwich called Blimpie Best that was being ordered by millions of customers each year. There was a time when you would see these all over the place, over 2,000 locations spread out across the country. Based on various reliable sources, here is my best attempt to put together a graph displaying the number of locations at
Look at that. Over 2,000 in 1999 goes down to nothing, and then that's barely anything in 2024.
they've been operating each year, and I think it's pretty clear that Blimpie has had a difficult 20 plus years, to say the least. And I would argue that a lot of their issues stem back even further. In fact, I might go so far as to say that there has never been a point throughout Blimpie's history where it has felt like a stable, promising company. Yeah, it has had a wild history with a few crucial missteps. So in this video, I want to talk about their history while doing my best to outline some of the biggest reasons that I believe are behind their decline. The first Blimpie was started by 3 men from New Jersey who had been friends in high school, reconnected at a party a few years later, and had the idea of starting a business together. They decided on a sandwich shop because they knew about one that seemed to be really popular that was over an hour's drive away, and they figured that they could be successful by replicating it in their own town. After a few months of research and a $2,000 loan from another friend of theirs, they were able to buy some used equipment and officially open for business on April 4th, 1964. Now that I think about it, I was exaggerating a little bit before when I said that the company never felt promising, because things were looking really good on that first day. There was a line waiting outside the door when they opened, and they were consistently busy until closing. They made $265 that day, which is pretty amazing considering that they were selling most of their sandwiches for less than 50 cents. The biggest
Wow.
reason behind that initial success was the fact that sub sandwiches had yet to become popular, especially in that area. There were no national chains, and I would be willing to bet that most of those customers were eating a
What
sub
the
sandwich for
fuck?
the first time that day. I would say that they almost stumbled upon one of America's next big foods, so of course they wanted to take advantage of it, and already that is leading me into the first reason behind their decline: rushing. Almost instantly, they were creating poor relationships and going into debt by failing to pay their suppliers and instead using all the money that they made to open more restaurants. It only took them 3 months to open 2 more Blimpies. The reasoning behind it there was that there was 3 of them so they could each run their own restaurants. But then they started franchising locations, and it quickly got to a point where they were so far behind on their payments that they were forced to sell all of the restaurants that they owned and become 100% franchised. So instead of making money from selling food to customers, they were making money from the franchisees, who would pay them for the right to open Blimpies and also a percentage of the money that they made from selling food to customers. I hope that all makes sense, because throughout the 1970s and into the 1980s, Blimpie was really aggressive in franchising. I think almost anyone would agree that they were too aggressive. They were making franchise agreements with just about anybody and leaving them mostly unsupervised, and you can see how
That sounds real bad. Like unsupervised expansion of franchise Blimpies and not make a whole lot of money.
that could lead to a million different problems. Geographically, they were scattered all over the place, complicating the deliveries and the advertising, but probably the biggest issue was the lack of uniformity. Many of the managers weren't enforcing their employees to wear uniforms. They were taking it upon themselves to use unapproved ingredients or even selling different types of food. Many of them weren't incredibly strict, keeping the restaurants clean or even following health codes. I mean, customers did not know what to expect when they were entering a Blimpie, and they quickly developed a negative reputation. The next reason behind their decline is the Border Cafe, and I'm guessing that almost no one has heard of this, considering it was a short-lived, upper-scale Mexican restaurant in Manhattan in the 1980s. See, by then, Tony Conza was the only one of the 3 founders that was still with the company, and it didn't even seem like he wanted to be there. He shifted all of his focus toward opening a new, unrelated restaurant called Border Cafe, or as he puts it, we started learning a lot about tequila and forgetting about bologna. He went on to open 2 more of them and even changed the name of the overall company to Astor Restaurant Group. Border Cafe was somewhat popular in the beginning, but quickly faded, and even Tony Conza admits that the whole endeavor was a huge mistake. You might be thinking that some of this doesn't quite add up. How can putting Blimpie on autopilot for just a few years be so detrimental? And I have an answer for that, but first I have to add a little more context by moving on to the third reason on my list: competition. Consider that Blimpie was one of the originals. Most of the popular sub-chains that we all know today were started after 1964, including Subway, who started 1 year later. So Blimpie
Oh
had
yeah,
a
man.
start in an emerging market and actually did
I still like Subway. Still not the best anymore. Honestly, I moved on to Jersey Mike's. Jersey Mike's is delicious. I think there might be. I don't know if there's still a Quiznos near my house or not, but I'll see. Let me see. I'm gonna go on Google Maps and see if there's a Quiznos near me. Oh yeah, there is a Quiznos near me. Let's see, it's about like 8.2 miles from my house. Yeah, I know this location. Yep, familiar with this one. I should check it out. I should see if it's any good or not. Alright. Quiznos used to be really good. I declined. How many Quiznos stores are left now? It can't be as bad as Blimpies, right? Blimpies at only 150. Just like be a couple more than that. Quiznos, how many do you got left? You guys have 300. Okay, that's not bad. That's better than that, but obviously not as good as Subway, which still has 37,000, which is I think more than McDonald's. Let's see who else there is. That You gotta look up the Jersey Mike's, my friend. Sandwiches, Blimpies, yeah. Ooh, Schlotzsky's is a good one. I mean, Schlotzsky's 303 locations, but they're actually really, really good. Like, the food is actually really, really good there at Schlotzsky's. Let's see what else is that. Obviously, there's Jimmy John's. I don't eat at Jimmy John's. You got over 2,000 locations. Now Jersey Mike's. How many do you got? Over 3,500. That's like quite a lot. Maybe too much. Not as much as Subway. I mean, Subway obviously 37,000. That's like around the world and everything. Yeah. Unfortunately, they really hurt the crap out of their goddamn their shit, man. They really hurt themselves with the It went from I honestly can't do the $5 foot long. I thought it was $6, which is fine. $6. I thought it's an actual foot long. I'm good. Still, man. Any news about them? Anything? Let's see. No, it was a class action lawsuit back in 2010. Looks like nothing since then. Alright, that's good.
Did take advantage of it in kind of a reckless way, but by the start of the 1980s, Blimpie and Subway were almost neck and neck. As far as I could tell, Subway had around 200 locations, and Blimpie was only a little bit behind them. But then, right when the market started exploding and becoming more competitive than ever, Tony Kanza chose to take his foot off of the accelerator and let Subway fly past him. Believe it or not, by the end of the decade, Blimpie was still hanging around 200 locations, maybe a little bit more, while Subway had grown to over 4,000. So now, Blimpie had fallen so far behind that it would be almost impossible to catch up to them, while they were still dealing with a negative reputation, inconsistent restaurants, and the franchisees were feeling more ignored than ever. Now, to his credit, Tony Kanza did jump back into things full force. He says he felt like giving up at that point, but forced himself to rediscover his passion for the business. He improved relationships, partially by visiting the franchisees. He started new quality control programs.
Alright, I'm glad he's trying to do something to fix this.
Like each other, and quite honestly, improved a lot of the issues. It was a little late, but he did set up Blimpie to take advantage of some big opportunities going into the 1990s. My next reason is debatable, but I'm going to say that part of their decline was due to opening smaller locations. Again, I promise, this is more impactful than it might seem at first. In the 1990s, cigarette sales went down, traditionally a huge moneymaker for convenience stores. So to compensate for those lost sales, it became a popular trend to open sandwich shops inside of those convenience stores. It's almost like a perfect fit because sandwich shops are simple. They don't require much equipment or space, and it's overall much easier to open one compared to other fast food concepts. They started opening shops not only in convenience stores, but in hospitals, colleges, bowling alleys. They even made these tiny carts and kiosks meant to be used at places like baseball games. So for anyone that was wondering how they were able to grow from 200 to 2,000 locations in a little more than a decade, this was a big
Okay, that makes sense.
Blimpie started squeezing themselves into anywhere they could, which, like I said, you could argue was a good thing for them for a while at least. The reason I have it on my list as a bad thing is partially because it's not ideal for visibility. A lot of them you can't even see from the street, so you're never going to think about Blimpie unless you're in a hospital or a ball game or something like that. But also because it was a fair...
Oh yeah, there's pot belly and all that, and you know what? That idea could have worked. You know, obviously staying in the hospitals would be good. You know, selling fresh food and healthy food to hospital staff people. Obviously, at the baseball game would be good. NBA plays, football, all that work. Gas stations not so much. Like gas stations are notorious being really bad and dirty. You go there for like the worst, shittiest food ever. Junk food. That's it.
Fairly specific opportunity that quickly became saturated. Remember, as a franchising company, a lot of their revenue comes from franchising fees when someone opens a new restaurant. So when the openings started to slow down toward the end of the decade, their revenue suffered and their profits fell. The company was sold to a private investor group that was led by the franchisor of 44 Blimpies in California, and that is when everything started going really bad. I think a big part of it goes right back to my previous reason, competition. By the 2000s, Subway had only extended their lead, while Quiznos was surpassing them as well. Again, not the most stable situation over there either, but they were taking away market share. It seemed like everyone else was on the rise, while they were starting to fall. And in the end, I think a lot of it comes down to the final reason on my list.
Roberto traded up to
Shit.
commercial insurance from Geico for serious coverage for both his truck and cargo.
This is a Geico ad?
Not standing out right from the beginning. Like I said, that original Blimpie was almost like a copycat of a different sub shop. And by the way, that other sub shop that they were copying went on to evolve into a national chain called Jersey Mike's. I also have to point out that Blimpie uses similar colors compared to Subway, and I would say have a similar overall design and setup. Many of their commercials over the years have directly compared them to Subway, which I think makes them seem more like a Subway alternative rather than their own thing.
See this? This is a Subway stuff. This is a Blimpie best. Ooh, bigger.
Maybe you disagree with this, but to me, most of the others have a stronger identity. You know, like
Subway, Eat Fresh. Unfortunately, they had the little Jared problem, but hey, but they recovered mostly from that. Obviously, 2020, the pandemic hurt them a little bit. I still think the biggest weakness of Subway right now is unfortunately too many locations still. They need to cut some of that back down, and also they need to make their food cheaper again. Like Subway shouldn't cost that much. I should go in there with $10 and I should be able to get a sandwich. Oh, Subway. Goddamn Subway, my friend. Menu. Subway series. How much does any of this shit cost? If it's costing me more than $10, then alright, let's see. Yeah. Goddamn, whatever. If it's costing me more than $10, then
Subway,
fuck up.
Eat Fresh. They used to have Jared and the $5 footlong. Quiznos had Toasty and the Sponge Monkeys. I'm not saying that they were good, but they were memorable. And then there's the Freaky Fast Delivery over at Jimmy John's. So I guess I'm asking, what is the equivalent for Blimpie? I guess the answer there would be simply Blimpie. That's the phrase that they would use in the 1990s. Probably not quite as strong as the others, so I think you get my argument here. By 2005, I think they
It's
realized
Blimpie
they weren't
time.
standing out. Their chief marketing officer said, "We're trying to separate ourselves from Subway, and we can't win by playing by the same rules." So their solution was to try and be a higher-end option by upgrading their restaurants and the logo and offering some pricier panini-type sandwiches, which may have been a good direction. It was at least something to make them stand out, but I think it fell apart in the execution. They promoted all of it with a multi-million-dollar ad campaign that featured a giant talking sandwich named Blimpie Guy that they say was inspired by the Jack in the Box mascot. So again, not the most original idea. Nor do I see how this mascot named Blimpie Guy reflects a higher-end establishment. Plus, 2005 leading into the recession may not have been the best timing to try to make themselves a pricier option. Meanwhile, Subway was making a killing during the recession with their $5 footlongs, so everything just kept unraveling further. My summary for this would be throughout their history, Blimpie has been good at attracting customers when there are not other direct alternatives, like in the beginning when they were the only sandwich shop in town, or when someone finds themselves in a convenience store or a hospital. But when it's anywhere near one of the competing major chains, I don't think that they have done a great job in standing out and drawing in the customers. Let me know in the comments, have you ever been to Blimpie? And if so, what do you think of it? Are you sad that they've been slowly shutting down, or are you happy to see them go?
So now they're back. They had like what? Let's see. How many people did they have? Locations? What is the one where they showed like the locations? That's what I need to see again.
Most stable situation, things started going to as a squeezing. That was one convenience stores, but in hospitals, colleges, bowling alleys. They even made these tiny carts and kiosks meant to be used at places like baseball games. So for anyone.
So they had like under 500 locations back there. Now they're back to under 500 locations. Pretty much every other location is beating their ass. Quiznos is beating their ass. Jersey Mike's beating their ass. Subway beating their ass hardly. You got, Potbelly beating their ass. So even in my own local area, I can go and find me a sandwich shop. I can find me a Subway easily. I can find the Quiznos easily. I can find the Jersey Mike's easily. Jimmy John's, let me see if there's a Jimmy John's near my house. Alright. It's a Jimmy John's near my house. Actually, there is a Jimmy John's near my house and a Schlotsky's. So yeah, so there are no Blimpies near my house. I could literally look it up. You, all of them are like. All of them are in. All of them are permanently closed down in the downtown area. The only one that's I think is still open is the one near the airport. That's it. The rest have shut down. Yeah, they're not doing so good, my friend. Yeah, they ain't doing so well. Fifth. Jimmy John's. Jimmy John's Popeyes. We find Subway, Jersey Mike, Jimmy John's, Potbelly, and Quiz. There you go. That's why you failed.
Anyone that was wondering how they were able to grow from 200 to 2,000 locations and happen better than it did. All right.
R.I.P. Blimpies, my friend. Let's see. The California Pizza. Damn, I didn't know about Mountain Dew. LLC decline of Hummer. Fuck them. And I've been to Panda Express. I've never been to a PF chain. Yeah, Spirit Halloween. Decline the TGI Fridays. Kind of Tupperware. Pizza, Blaze Pizza. My pizza is going out of business. No Comic Finch is still around. What happened to Rank Rainforest Cafe? Blimpies RIP, man. And what happened to Nissan, dog? I miss y'all, man. Let's see. Quick Trip. Fanning near you? What? That sounds positive. Harbor Freight, yeah, it was expanding. Wish.com, ugh. Bojangles. Rockstar, what? Twitch, rise and follow Twitch. I'm on Twitch. I need Twitch to rise up again and help me out because I need that fucking money, bitch. Alright. Eat that shit, dog. No. It's like, yeah, there's Barnes and Noble near my house, and they're still doing good. MOBAs. Hmm. Let's see. Hmm. And it sucks like TikTok's going away, and then I have to get rid of my Twitter account just because it's just so bad now, man. It's a pain in the goddamn ass to get my password back. Like I can't remember it, and he refused to help me at all. So I just need to close that account. Let's see. Hmm. See, the only one good chorus pistol might be interesting. Do nothing else. Let's see this. You know what? Let's see. I'm gonna see if he's still here. Game of Wolf. All right. I mean, I want to buy. I don't know if I should buy. I think I should buy an like Xbox Series S, maybe. I think I should. I think that should be the next thing I should buy. Yeah, I should watch a lot of beat bangers here because beat bangers so good, dog. All right. Oh yeah, here you go. Game of Wolf. Let's check your videos out. Wow. Let's see. Did I see the last video? Yes, I did. So 60. So 61. Check
Hello and
this out. Sorry, I'm texting someone.
welcome to another Let's Play. Me, InugamiTheHound of Echo. Before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, then You can get it for free on itch.io, but if you want to support the people that
Oh, my knees! Jesus.
made this game and are making other games, then you can go to Patreon, where it's $3 a month. So, on the last Let's Play, Duke came over here, where he, described that things are going crazy, and we're here,
I'm eating some sour
to protect
candies.
us, kinda, but also to interrogate us, because he's just trying to figure out what's going on, just like in Leo's route. And he left, where we're left alone with Brian here, who was teasing us a bit, and then puts our bat friend Micah into a noose that has razor blades on the outside of it. So if he tries to grab for the noose, he cuts his fingers. But now, he's turning his attention towards us. We had to double back a little bit, because we were at like 38 minutes, and I was like, we'll just keep, it's another thing. So yeah, so reset my face and begin. Hey, don't think I forgot about you all. When I open my eyes again, he's looking directly at me. Well, you two at least. I mean, given the choice of a bunch of guys and one girl, what kind of queer would pick the girly? He says the word queer with distaste, the bear beginning to reach into his little satchel. He looks to Jenna as he pulls out what looks like a long spool of string. The others tell me you were a bit of a bitch anyway. Okay, we're past 1 minute mark. At least, that's what your brother said. I keep expecting Jenna to start speaking, talking him down, full psychoanalysis modes, and all those thriller movies. Like all those, But right now, she's completely silent. Leo stirs slightly beside
I wish he
me,
would say something. It would be nice.
incoherent.
I need your help,
Ryan has to
Jenna.
slow and kneels down in front of us. I begin to feel faint as he points the edge of them towards me with a smile. Instead of cutting me, he begins snipping along the side of my shorts and underwear, cutting up to the waistband. What are you doing? Micah teeters in the kitchen, letting out a blubbering, choking sound as he struggles for breath. Saw you a few weeks ago. You had no eyes. Heard you talking to that empty rail yard, saying that you two need to stay close. Thinking I should oblige that request. What? The eyeless chase, the thing we saw earlier?
Oh, you must have saw the tulpa as well.
I shout, shifting slightly as Brian does the same to his pant leg.
Well,
Don't worry,
pant leg. I think I
I
had
won't get your bits
shorts,
out.
jean shorts.
He reaches into his little medical bag and pulls out a suturing needle. I think you're supposed to shave fur before you start doing this, but oh well. No, please, you don't need to do this. The thing you saw, it wasn't me. I've seen it too. Brian blinks, canting his head slightly. Well, I figured as much. That he wasn't real. You still have your eyes now. And that's goatee. He's pushing our legs together now. My heart feels like it's in my throat. My vision starts to blur. Don't squirm now, or it turns to joint breaking time.
Hmm. Oh,
Actually,
God.
I can't always stitch the other things together. God, no. The needle hits me first, at my mid-thigh. I cry out, squeezing my fists against my chest. I want to deck him, punch him, do anything to make him stop. I yell so loud, I slobber into the front of my shirt, tears once again well in my eyes. I can feel the metal pierce through my skin, far too deep as it tears through my muscle and tugs it back out. Leo begins to rise slightly as it goes through his leg, though he doesn't wake.
Oh god, how's he sleep?
That's one. Stop!
Damn,
I start
man.
to feel faint as blood pools from the new holes in my thigh, though the needle through the needle re-entering promptly wakes me back up. Fuck! 2. Stop. Jenna speaks from the corner of the room.
Oh wow, now she speaks.
A voice unlike I've ever heard it before. Quiet. So much so that I don't know if Brian even heard her. 3. Micah gasps, wobbling erratically as blood drips from his left hand.
Oh.
He must have gripped the rope for a second and cut himself.
Yeah.
Don't fall, kid.
This might be like one of the worst like torture scenes ever. Like, I mean, I think this is worse than I think the one in Leo's scene. Like Leo's was pretty bad, but it was just I think it was just friggin' chased by himself. There was no others. There was no Carl. There's no Jenna. No Micah. No Leo. Maybe Duke and Brian will drop by, but that was it.
He has
Been a while.
lurid gaze as he stares directly into my eyes, pushing the needle in again. So deep, I'm sure it scrapes the bone, and it's like my whole body has been lit on fire. Snot dribbles down my nose. I can't fucking take it anymore. Brian keeps counting. 10, 11, 12, 13.
14 stitches. Yeah. Well, I think 7 stitches, but 14 total connecting the two of you. Yeah.
14. Leo's writhing has gotten more intense, and each tug of his leg spreads the puncture wounds more. I can't take it. Something begins to move in the corner of the room, in the closet beside the bedroom. I can't tell if it's just my blurred vision, or whether the door is actually opening. In the kitchen, the stool tips over, and Micah is suddenly dangling freely.
Oh no.
Oh god. More choked gurgles escape the increasingly red-faced bat. His arms begin to flail, wildly at first, then in a more coordinated rhythm. It takes me a moment to realize he's batting his wings.
Yeah.
He flaps as hard as he can, and, faintly, it looks like he manages to get a gulp of air. His hovering is erratic, even enough to keep him completely suspended, or never enough. Brian peers over his shoulder, eyebrows raised slightly. Help him! Brian ignores her. Would you look at that? He can fly.
He can fly
He's
now.
clearly taxing Micah, and he's still having trouble breathing. His face continues to turn an unnatural hue. He can't keep this up. Help him! Out of the corner of my eye, the closet door shifts open further. There is something inside. Someone. They're a reddish-white color, half choked in shadow.
I'm cloaked.
Eyes wide, mouth open. It moves like there's a strobe light behind it. Its motions choppy and unnatural.
Kind of much. It might be the same monster from TJ's story.
It's like it's not moving at all, but rather a series of imagined images projected in front of my eyes, changing every second. And each second it gets closer. It looks like it's as tall as Brian, impossibly slender, with arms and legs that look warped and burnt. It has no eyes, no mouth, just holes. Next thing I know, it's in the kitchen, and Micah just drops. The bat hits the floor with a heavy thud, the cut noose around his neck. Brian sees it now, too. He reels back, just as it begins to approach him. They're real, is all he can say before the bear is yanked about with immense violent force, his body bending like a flicked rubber band. The contents of his pockets, one of his pant legs, and a small chunk of flesh smack against the kitchen wall. The rest of him goes flying out the window, along with the figure. My mind immediately thinks back to when I was a kid. I'd seen plenty of stuff, lots of horrible things. But the psychiatrist had said that was just normal, that some kids hallucinate.
What kids?
Not like this, though.
What kids are hallucinating this much, my friend? That's something I need to know. What kids are hallucinating this much and this often?
There's glass scattered across the stained carpet. Bloodstains, drapple, and turquoise polka-dotted drapes, swaying slightly with the new breeze that comes through the broken window. This is real, right? Past all reasonable doubt. It has.
And let's eat more of these honey roasted peanuts. Doing these reaction streams make me, make me kind of hungry and thirsty. See, how much water do I have? I do have some water. Maybe like 1/3 left. More. Guess you can hear all these sounds. I mean, I've messed with the settings, and I try to make it a lot harder to hear, certain noises, but still, it's impossible to stop all noise, especially when I have a mic like this. But, hey,
The shock of the situation had eclipsed the pain in my leg. Enough that brief respite fades quickly, or though that brief respite. It's wretched and niggling, like being stung by 20 bees every couple seconds. Rivulets of Leo and I's blood pool together and runs between the connected thighs.
watch out, you can get AIDS
Her
or
eye gets
HIV from that.
streaks, my head spinning and heart pounding. Every base animalistic neuron in my brain is firing to flee the situation, to make the throbbing stop, and to just find safety. But there's nothing I can do but gasp for breath. One eye on the window, and the other on the struggling, bleeding silhouette of Micah. My vision blurs. When it refocuses, the bat is up on his knees, yellow eyes wide and bloodshot.
Well, he's still alive, that's
He
good.
says something. His voice, high-pitched, quaking, utterly indiscernible. At least to me, right now. He scrambles on his hands and knees, coughing and wheezing, while yanking open several of Brian's kitchen drawers. Dirty silverware-looking utensils.
He has blood all over his hand.
Receipts shower the floor. The ruckus is immense. I'm sure the thing outside hears it. That is, if it's even capable of hearing. He pulls another drawer completely out of its socket. An assortment of bottle openers, chip clips, and twist ties scatters forth. You gotta keep your chip clips and twist ties. Panting out ragged breaths, his fingers grab something glittering in silver from the new pile. His eyes widen. Keys. For a moment, his gaze trails to the door, then back to us. He coughs again, swearing some obscenity that I can't fully make out. Scampering along from the kitchen to the other side of the room, he begins using the keys on Jenna's restraint. There's a satisfying click, and I can hear Jenna gasp. "Thank you," she whispers. Micah wastes no time, moving back to my sightline for a moment to reach Leo beside me. "You..." Leo moans, seemingly aware of the bat's presence, as a large paw reaches out to touch the bat's soft mane of white fur.
Micah's fun. I mean, well, not Micah. Leo's finally awake.
Blinking some, and he's still definitely out of it, wolf. Leo's arm goes limp again, the bat exhaling a coarse breath, trying to steady his own shaking hand, so that he can unlock the wolf's restraint. Jenna quickly heads to the kitchen, grabbing a knife from the torn-out cutlery drawer. I'll get you out of this. Sec. Just don't squirm, okay? She looks at me, her turquoise eyes wide and glistening. I'll be fine. Leo mutters. Jenna doesn't even look at him as she brings the blade between her thighs. With a little slice, she manages to cut through the first stitch, and the flesh runnel of blood leaks from the puncture points. It's as if the wound is hissing at me, my ears ringing as I clutch my fists against my chest. Don't scream. Don't scream. I whimper as the knife nicks the second, but doesn't quite break the string. Instead, it tugs up the winding, piercing, and tearing at my skin.
Oh, God.
Leo stirs, his fist clenching, as his half-lidded eyes try to focus on Jenna.
It was nasty as well. I mean,
trying to stand up. This puts.
The needle wasn't clean. The wire's not clean. It went through your blood and muscles and scraped against the bone, especially the needle. And now these unclean sutures, trying to get out of your wound. It's not easy. So you have to be very careful not to make the wound worse, bleed more, ruin any muscles. Really messed up.
Pulls harder on the stitching, and I can't tell what will give first, the stitching or the flesh on my legs. I cry out between grit teeth, Jenna trying to pin the wolf back down. Stop moving, you're only making it worse. Jen tries to cut the stitching faster now. She gets one rung, 2, 3. Fuck off me. I look down to see Jenna's blade tip and stuck into the wolf's thigh. Even more blood trickling from the fresh wound. Just be still.
Wait. What was that?
Jenna so tense. Jen tries to cut the stitching faster now.
Uh-huh.
She gets one rung, 2.
Alright.
Fuck off me. I look down to see Jenna's blade tip and stuck into the wolf's thigh.
Ah, damn. The blade went inside his leg. Thigh.
More blood trickling from the fresh wound. Just be still. I've never heard Jenna so tense. Leonie writhes more, reeling against the restraints, with such ferocity that Micah can't undo the lock. God, just fucking give it to me. The bat stops fiddling with the lock and extends a hand out to Jenna. The fennec turned to look at him. She doesn't move and give him the knife, but she does loosen her grip. Micah doesn't hesitate and plucks it from her with the deftness of a pickpocket.
Alright.
Gingerly, he places the flat.
Oh, sorry.
Hand against Leo's chest.
Oh, I didn't. I'm so sorry. I missed your chat message. So most of the season has dropped. Yeah. Well, the first half has dropped, and the rest of the angels will come. Alright. Hopefully you come back. I do apologize. Like I said, someone else is also texting me, so the app, the Twitch app, chat goes away for a bit.
And with the other makes a quick slice between our legs in one motion. The pressure keeping us together is suddenly gone, and I feel I can freely pull my leg away from his. The pain is still immense, but nowhere near as bad. You are so fucking lucky.
You all are. Especially you, man.
As he moves to unlock Leo's restraint. If I'm lucky, I certainly don't feel like it. Yeah, so are you. The bat lets out a sharp exhale as Leo is freed. Surprisingly, he stands right up, a bit less unsteadily. It's still not entirely clear that he knows where he is, blood still running down the side of his leg.
You have anything to clean yourself up?
He takes a cautious step back, though the dazed wolf doesn't appear to be outwardly hostile towards him. In fact, the two meet each other's gazes for a moment, and Leo sobers slightly? What? He mumbles, braces himself with a large arm against the wall. As Micah shifts his freeing efforts to me, Jenna nimbly steps around the broken glass and makes her way to Brian's fridge. She pulls open the door, tucking out various foodstuffs in plastic bags. Finally, she pulls out several bottles of water and hurries back over. Click.
Did you have any
in my throat,
antiseptic?
my head forward. Big gulps of air enter my lungs with a refreshing sensation unlike anything I've ever felt. My whole body buzzes with.
The room must smell bad, but at the same time, must smell really good because like Brian's, dead slash got ran through the wall of the fucking RV. So you find smelling some real air in the past several hours. You're not smelling Brian's musk and shit and and all that nasty shit. All his meth. Good ass peanuts, dog.
With a mixture of pain and relief. Jenna quickly hands me the bottle of water, and I don't hesitate to start chugging it. Well, I tried to, but then I realized the cap is still on. After rectifying my error, I can see clearly the phased look in Jenna's eyes. Her usual cool demeanor gone, and in its place, a deeply unsettled visage that matches how I feel. I mean, who wouldn't be put off by this? I mean, kidnapped, tortured, otherworldly demon thing throwing an entire man out the window and stuff. It seemed to be helpful. She briefly looks off to her side, towards the broken window, then back at me. Chase, Micah takes 2 of her water bottles, giving one to Leo and one to himself. That thing. Jenna nods. Yeah. Was that the thing you mentioned to me? On the hike? Her fur bristles, the fox finding the notion incredibly uncomfortable. I don't know what that was. Something the authorities will investigate later, I suppose. So, I wasn't fucking seeing shit? It really was some burnt motherfucker.
Alright. Gotta wash my hands real quickly. Yeah.
Leaping out of that sick fucker's closet? Micah squeezes the bottle, splashing his face with the cold water. Must have been 7 feet tall, at least.
Way taller than.
Man? Is that what all he was? Just another victim of Brian's cruel tortures? Stashed away until now? Don't you think he's still outside, or do you think? Maybe?
You talking about the red man or
Hushed tone.
Brian?
I doubt Brian is in much of a threatening state, though. Yeah. We all seem to be fixated on the broken window, though none of us are jumping at the chance to investigate more closely. No one, except for Leo. I glance over and see the big wolf stumbling forward, arms outstretched. His movements are jittery, robotic, his maw hanging open slightly. His eyes still aren't fully open, yet he grasps the windowsill and peers into the darkness. He stays there, motionless. Seconds pass, at least 10, and finally he turns to face us. Never seen that before. Leo mumbles. You see anything? Yeah. Micah
God damn it.
3 of your ex-boyfriends died. Sure, a few of my exes are dead.
stares at him bug-eyed. Well, what do you fucking see? Red. Micah sets his water bottle down, picking back up his knife and the contents of Brian's pockets. Alright, fuck this. We're getting out of here. If that person we totally all just saw wanted to do us in, he would have done so. I just want to get to car. Get some distance from this place. Call the cops on the payphone.
Who the hell uses a
He
payphone?
furrows his brow at something on the ground before picking it up and shoving it into his shorts. And spend the rest of the night cooped up in one of those 24-hour pancake houses where the waitstaff is always around to watch you. Carl, gotta save him. Oh fuck, we completely forgot about Carl. Though I don't think he might be in too bad of a situation, at least, you know, if Fox and everybody else are completely sane at the moment, but probably not. Leo blurts it out like a spoken belch, his distorted eyes seemingly swimming in their sockets as he looks at no one in particular. The notion swells up like a knot in my stomach. First fear, then guilt. Sorry, need to yawn. Carl had been subjected to this for days. And maybe he knows more about the thing in the closet. That's a job for the police. She says this with an initial reassuring tone, though she falters for a moment. Though, those gunshots earlier. We should have heard the police sirens by now, or yeah, we would have. I'm assuming the phone service and internet are still down, just like if you live in Texas. So, let's find a fucking car then? We drive to Peyton.
What was that? You mentioned Texas.
I'm assuming the phone service and internet are still down, just like if you live in Texas.
221.
So,
Alright, I'm gonna do some more water. Watch this down.
We drive to Peyton, rat out those murder-abating fucks I called friends, and never look back. Jenna sighs, closing her eyes for a moment, then nodding. Yeah. And sounds like an idea as any. Let's go. I'm not seeing any car keys here. Pretty sure Duke has his rides. Gotta save Carl. Now. Leo interjects, and Jenna just looks at him, dumbfounded. Oh, go right ahead, Leo. She speaks up, gesturing towards the door flippantly. We'll be in Peyton. You go right ahead and tell us how it goes. Leo blinks slowly, before again slowly meandering to the door. Wait, what? I try to stop him, wincing at the pain in my leg. Oh, Jesus. I managed to grab his fur, and that staggers him enough to stop him for a moment. I wasn't serious. Leo, please, come on. We'll stick together and get this taken care of. Carl. I can feel him pulling away, so I try to think of something to get him to stop. Leo, man, we need you. I need you. I squeeze his paw briefly, just enough to show him I'm here.
He's like using him, kind of manipulating him a little bit. Maybe something that might be some.
Lost child, he squeezes back. The physical contact feels nice, though after being stitched to him, I'm relieved that he lets go. You two, good to move? I take a tentative step, and Jenna takes me by the arm in case I fall. The pain is dizzying, and I have overwhelming urge to just down a bottle of ibuprofen and crawl into a corner. But I definitely can still walk. I'll manage. Jenna smiles faintly at me. I'll help him. Leo, in all his stupid glory, says nothing as he pulls open the front door and steps outside into the dark. It got dark real quick. Micah steps up beside us, his skinny arms folded tightly over his chest. Okay, urgent care for him, then the pancake house. I think with us going to a new day and the last episode being a bit long, it's a good time to call it.
Already?
I wonder if that was the van that ran over the albino cat.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's going to be the end of this Let's Play. Hopefully we all get out fine and nobody dies, cause that would suck. Except for Brian, fuck him, but apparently that's not canonical. I guess. I wonder, is Duke in the next game? Let's see, go to that. I mean, that doesn't mean whether or not Duke is dead or not. Oh, look at that. Wait. No. Okay, there's Brian. His last name is DuBois. I have no idea who is DuBois. But guess who Duke's last name is? Tibbets. Man. I mean, I know things have gone downhill for the people of Echo, but it's where that everybody seemed to be gay, or at least the main characters seemed to be gay, but everybody seemed to get it on. I mean, maybe it's just kind of the expectation back in those days where it's like, well, everybody needs to fuck. You know, keep up appearances. Man, didn't think. I wouldn't have thought that, you know, Cliff's descendant would be a horrible drug addict. But, yeah. Apparently, Duke also lives to the next game. I'm not sure if that's a spoiler or not, though. Because
Yes, it is.
supposedly they both survived my first story where I was with TJ. But apparently, he's in the second game. Who'd have thunk? Though it doesn't seem as much as Brian, though. So, that's going to be the end of this Let's Play. So, please comment, guys. I like comments. I mean, the thing is, he does seem a bit worse for wear than in Echo. Because in Echo, he seems to have a scar, one lesion, and red eyes. But in Arches, he has like the same scar and like 5 more lesions and red-tipped fingers. I'm not sure if that is a sign of heavy use or just his thing. I wonder if Brian's the descendant of anybody. There was a bear in the smoke room. How do you spell descendant? Well, I guess Brian might not be the descendant of anyone. Just to be like that. But anyways, and in this Let's Play, so comment, guys, comment if you like, dislike tips, tricks. Otherwise, if you like me, YouTube, and like See Crow, then please like, subscribe, and check out the rest of it. Go.
Alright, bye, Game Wolf 6. What else can I react to? Let's see. Problem with Gen Z, first generation. I saw that video and it's really, really good. See, let's see. Any interesting, maybe, any interesting economic videos, maybe? There's gotta be, right? Let's see. Hmm. See, first signs of Russian economies failing. Alright, there you go. Finally, something interesting to watch. When there's a bunch of
think you know Wix, but do you really? First up, we've got
What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude. Happy holidays. The Russian economy seems more fragile than ever. The ruble is hovering around 100 per US dollar once again, and even more influential figures like German Gref, the CEO of Sberbank, have publicly warned of stagflation. And sure, Elvira Nabiullina mentioned to Putin countless number of times that the war is going to destroy the Russian economy, but she is nowhere near close to caliber of German Gref, probably one of Putin's personal favorite members of his inner circle. Such statements confirm that short-lived patches can no longer shield the economy from deeper structural problems. Classic monetary policies are
Alright, look, I mean, it looks like the Russian economy is not doing well. I mean, the American economy is doing pretty well for now, but once, Trump puts his tariffs in, well, say goodbye all that nice economic growth. We might see a recession, maybe a depression. We might need one.
no longer working, and Putin continues to bury the economy even deeper. Inflation is on the rise, the ruble's purchasing power has declined, and even direct interventions by the central bank appear ineffective. And not that long time ago, one of the very first signs of the ultimate collapse started showing. So in today's video, let's talk about the most recent condition of Russia from economic perspective, whether it is going to survive, and what are the consequences that can and most likely will happen.
Okay.
In recent years, the Russian government relied on short-term fixes to hide deeper flaws in its economic framework. By threatening major retail chains and agro-holdings with sanctions or even imprisonment, officials at first managed to keep basic food prices from skyrocketing. But for how long the iron fist method can last? In theory, this sort of administrative pressure can work for a while, especially when a handful of corporations dominate vital sectors. However, the success of such tactics rests on the willingness and capacity of businesses to offset costs elsewhere, and that's what they did at first, until there is no more opportunities to cut costs. And in order for businesses to stay afloat, they just have to increase the prices eventually. It is either that or they go bankrupt. Eventually, the entire arrangement collapses when it becomes impossible to carry the burden of artificially low consumer prices. The same principle applies to the foreign currency market. Abundant reserves of US dollars, euros, and yuan in state-controlled accounts allowed Russia to momentarily suppress dramatic exchange rate fluctuations. By unloading humongous amounts of foreign currency, officials calmed the market at least for a day or two. Yet the underlying cause did not vanish. With rubles flooding the economy, inflationary pressures skyrocketed. A one-time intervention might delay panic withdrawals from banks, but it merely postpones the inevitable devaluation. So-called band aid.
So let's see. I know the Russian ruble, has been devaluated a lot. Thanks to, well, it's been devalued for a while thanks to all the sanctions all the way back to 2014, but now it's gotten a lot worse since 2022.
Aid solutions thrive on the illusion that small clamps and temporary braces can hold everything together. If the roof sags, a simple wooden post might keep it upright for a season. If a pipe leaks, a clamp might slow the drip for a while. But when the problems multiply, rising cost of labor, raw materials, and electricity, no sum of short-lived measures can prevent the widespread price hikes. The era of improvised solution is nearing its end, and the cracks in the system are becoming too visible to ignore. Labor shortages have already become a serious issue. Early on, businesses could handle the departure of a fraction of their workforce to military service or military-related employment. With a manageable 10% of employees gone, companies merely extended overtime and restricted leave to existing workers. This approach, while painful, kept public services afloat for a time. But when that figure surged to 50% in some industries and regions, no impromptu strategy could fill the gaps. Recruitment incentives from the Ministry of Defense have outpaced anything that ordinary industries can match, luring skilled workers away with wages several times the market rate. That's the drone and tank assemblers we were talking about several times in the past, who are making 5 times the salary of a senior manager in an IT company. The effort to reward ratio became off the charts. This absence of labor disrupts manufacturing, agriculture, and other vital sectors, so much needed for a healthy economy. Imagine a country that does not grow much of its own food and has to buy most of it abroad. A country that does not produce much of its own goods, whether it be vehicles, equipment, or even clothes. Instead, this is a country that produces mostly tanks, artillery systems, rifles, missiles, bullets, and camouflage nets. Does this sound like a sustainable economy to you? Even the smartest substitutions tactics lose their efficiency when too many employees disappear. The idea of replacing a worker who left for the army or for a military factory with an immigrant for Central Asia grows less viable every day. Immigrants too started demanding decent compensation attached to a relatively stable currency. And we cannot forget the fresh waves of xenophobic policies that make Russia a less welcoming place to work for these people. As a result, the inflated wages offered to military contractors contribute the most to the inflation cycle. Millions of Russians make unimaginable before amounts of money. Their demands increase as well, and the prices they're willing to pay grow higher. Individuals not involved in war-related activities see their salaries stagnate at best. In the worst-case scenario, companies even have to lower the wages just to stay afloat. What we have is a person who makes less money than before, while everything, and I mean it, everything around him gets significantly more expensive.
Alright, yeah. Mentioning the labor shortage because everyone that used to work in agriculture or factories or a service economy or an IT place and now working in the military. I mean, they had this in World War II as well, but they had enough people, whether it be in America or any other place, that had enough people to work, the farms, the factories, service stuff, hospitals, all that to keep all that working. And obviously, Russia is right next to Central Asia, so it has a lot of immigrants. But unfortunately, even most of them would rather just stay home. Or if they do work, they need better wages, but they're not going to give them better wages or better conditions.
The work they are doing is hard, so no wonder many people prefer to just weld some plates together on an armored vehicle and get paid 5 times their regular salary. But the rest of the population, who prefers to distance themselves from anything war-related no matter what, is left behind. Teachers, bus drivers, and service employees struggle with cost of living increases that outpace their pay. The result is an economy that already goes towards shortages in both goods and labor, simultaneously weakening private enterprises and undermining public infrastructure. The first signs of collapsing economy started showing as bright as they can. As the ruble slides and the living costs increase, wage discrepancies among various sectors have become way too obvious. Industries tied to the war effort experience large infusions of public funds, enabling them to offer salaries previously unseen in the civilian market. Ordinary workers who once settled for 30,000 rubles a month, around $300, suddenly find themselves tempted by 100,000 ruble paycheck, $1,000, in a munition factory, or even 200,000 rubles, $2,000, at the front line. This difference fosters a vicious cycle of wage-driven inflation. Higher earnings among defense-related employees propel consumer prices upward for everyone, from school teachers in distant regions to hospital nurses in large cities. Meanwhile, the central bank's attempts to steady the ship by raising the interest rate have failed to halt currency depreciation. And just like it was predicted in my previous videos, Elvira Nabiulna is the one blamed by the regime. She's the head of the Central Bank of Russia, so who else is to blame? This is the incredibly stupid logic of Putin and his cronies. Whether the rate stands at 21 or 23%, the ruble continues to lose the ground. These interest rate hikes merely suffocate industries with no ties to state defense contracts, as they...
Alright, it seems like it looks like they increased the interest rate quite a few times. Unfortunately, that has not helped, has not helped the economy at all. And unfortunately, other people who want to buy like a home or a house or anything, that's helping them. And if you are in the defense contract industry or you're on the front lines, you're making a lot of money, but you turn around and try to spend any of it, everything's way more expensive. So even if you are making $1,000, $300, things are still expensive.
Fight with extraordinary high borrowing costs, because don't forget, double-digit interest rates not only increase the yields of regular people's savings accounts, it also increases the cost of borrowing money, which is especially hurtful for small and medium-sized businesses, who count every single ruble they make. Suddenly, they pay twice much for borrowed capital, employees demand 5 times higher salaries, and half of the workforce leaves to assemble drones that will explode in the open field for no reason. No wonder entrepreneurial spirit is dying in Russia, which is yet another sign of an economy about to collapse. The automobile sector offers a perfect example. Once citizens could rely on European, Korean or Japanese brands at reasonable prices, and now with foreign manufacturers such as Mercedes, BMW, Audi, Honda or Toyota leaving the market, Chinese vehicles occupy a near monopoly. Even the notorious Lada, which surprisingly still exists, became extremely unaffordable to regular people. Imagine buying a Lada for the cost of entry-level Mercedes. That's the situation we have right now in Russia. And Russians do like their cars. Taxi services, reliant on continuous vehicle renewals and spare parts, see their costs multiply as well. When wage pressures push taxi drivers to consider more rewarding military roles, the upward pressure on prices becomes unavoidable. This is also a perfect example how
I didn't know Russia had that many taxi drivers. Kind of reminds me of Japan. Japan also has a lot of taxi drivers. What about like Korea, Vietnam, or China? Do they have a lot of taxi drivers? We don't have as many as we used to do here in America. I mean, we still have some taxi drivers, but it's mostly around like the airports, maybe.
seemingly one sector can affect different parts of the economy, not just the regional sector itself. Everything in the economy is connected and related to each other. And it is unbelievable that the minds that control Russia do not understand it.
Ooh, stagflation, that is not good.
Stagflation, a combination of slowing economic growth and persistent inflation, now looms over Russia. In a healthier environment, policymakers might tame inflation by raising interest rates or stimulating production. However, each potential solution merely aggravates another issue. Draining liquidity to tame prices hampers private enterprises, which are already stretched thin by labor and raw material costs. Injecting more money into the economy, on the other hand, fuels additional inflation. And we can confirm, Elvira Nabiulina tried her best to use these traditional methods inside not so traditional economy. So obviously, it did not work. The government spending is also significantly channeled into military salaries and war-related goods, leaving civilian projects chronically underfunded. The state's pressing need for military personnel directly hinders any solution for worker shortages in civilian life. Bus routes in remote regions are suspended because half the drivers have joined the armed forces. Municipal governments cannot compete with the salaries offered by military recruitment offices. Immigration, once a solution, is now fraught with challenges as anti-immigration policies escalate. Even if a company decides to shell out higher wages, survival under the environment of high loans rates is hardly possible. These constraints feed one into another.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, everyone is moving over to the war economy or defense contracts or building drones. So it makes it hard for a bus driver to be bus drivers. So you have to rely on immigration, but no one wants to immigrate to Russia. No one from Central Asia wants to live there. Maybe a few crazy weirdos, from America. Maybe those people that love like Tucker Carlson a lot can probably go there.
Another, causing structural harm that can no longer be hidden with quick patches or improvised solutions. Even though the economy remains alive, at least for now, the signs of deep decay are evident to anyone who looks. The regime of Putin does everything possible to achieve one thing at the expense of another. They try to win an unwinnable war at the cost of ruining its own economy. What happens when they fail to achieve the victory but are successful at destroying their own country? The answer is pretty obvious to me. The only question now is no longer whether stagflation will grip the economy, but rather whether it has already done so.
Alright, that was a good video. Let's see what else can we see. Let's see. Merry Christmas. Every weapon I use to save money. And firearm stuff. Okay, I'll check this out. We'll see what this is all about. Might be interesting to see.
What's up, guys? Spin Firearms here, and Merry Christmas to you guys and all your families. Hope you guys are having a great day. Anyways, my gift to you guys this Christmas is telling you guys where to go to save money, to to find quality parts and basically be able to get whatever you want for any firearm. And like I said, do it at a price point that's affordable for the average person, right? I've done a lot of shopping for firearms, parts, holsters, ammo, all of that throughout the years. And since I've done that, I've tried probably, shopping at maybe 300 to 500 different places that I've purchased from myself. I've narrowed it down to a select system that I have where I save a ridiculous amount of money while getting the same exact parts and brands that the average person gets, but end up paying full price. So today we're going to talk about where I go for all this stuff. A lot of people always say, oh, you have so much stuff. Where do you get all this stuff? How do you afford all this stuff? Well, one, I do new construction plumbing. I'm a licensed plumber, and I do that full time. I also run a YouTube channel, and I put a lot of money back into my channel. Therefore, I end up getting more firearms and parts. But while doing that, what I come up with is places to get this stuff for an extremely cheap price, and like I said, affordable for the average hardworking American, right? So first off, we're going to start on my cheat code, eBay. I know it sounds crazy. Do not leave the video yet. eBay. Now, a lot of people might say, oh, you can get scammed or it's going to be fake stuff. That is not the case at all. eBay has a really good policy when it comes to fake stuff, returns, and stuff like that.
Yeah, eBay's a lot better than it used to be.
I've never dealt with one single issue on eBay. I've probably bought 5,000 to 10,000 different things off eBay, all the way to my kids' 14-karat gold earrings, to knives, to holsters, literally whatever the case may be. I have bought it on eBay and have never had a fake or false thing ever. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the stores, right? Here's the thing. For instance, you go online. Let's talk about Strike Industries, right? They're a good quality brand. They have a website. Well, that website is one stream of revenue. What they want now is another store. So where do they put it? eBay. So then Strike Industries themselves has a store on eBay. It's the same exact people. It's just another stream of income. They know a lot of people have been on eBay ever since it came out, right? Ever since the beginning of time, basically, in terms of shopping online. So Strike Industries is a place I go to for great stuff. They have great slides, and you're getting the Strike Industries parts. Now, here's the key. eBay has an offer, or has a something called offer, or make best offer. They also have something called bidding. So let's say someone wants this holster right here, and the company has it up for sale, $70 or best offer. I can now go in there and type in $40. I can lowball them. They might come back and say, you know what, you just lowballed me, that's ridiculous. I'm going to go 65. You can return the offer and say 50. You guys might end up meeting somewhere at 57, 55, or they might not meet at all. That happens. But chances are, if you make an offer, you will get that product for less money. And here's why. That store would have not given you the chance to make an offer if they weren't, or if they were completely firm on the product. So that is a huge way. I've won over and over and over again. These Hooper Gunworks slides from the Hooper Gunworks store. That's another one of my favorite stores on the eBay site, right? Both slides are from there. I think they're all make best offers, right? So I always put an offer, and I do it for a little bit less, and typically we always come to an agreement. It's absolutely awesome. You always will save money compared to their actual website. Now, here's a list of some of the companies. Strike Industries. On top of that, you see a lot of the grips I use, right? Handle It Grips. They have their own site. Talon Grips. They have their own site on eBay, right? And I got these for $13. You will never find a pair of grips on Handle It's website for $13. But on eBay, I picked these up for $13. And I've actually gotten 4 or 5 pairs of them for $13 now. Then we have one of my favorite, we call it websites ever, or stores ever on there. It's called Original Equipment Parts. Original Equipment Parts. That's the name of the store. They've sold ridiculous amount of stuff. For instance, let's say you have an old Ruger SR9C, and you need, the firing pin. They sell stuff like that. Let's say you have a discontinued Beretta. They sell parts for it. Let's say you have an old Smith & Wesson from 1980. They sell parts for it. I just bought a lower parts kit, a Glock 27 lower parts kit from them for $30 and $5 shipping. $35 out the door. I just bought an OEM guide rod from them for $12. And they're all OEM parts. That site is absolutely ridiculous. That's called Original Equipment Parts. Then on top of that, there's places like NDZ. NDZ makes base plates. guide rods, all sorts of stuff. Triggers, you know,
Oh, I didn't know
striker
that.
sleeves, and they also sell ghost
God, I really want to get into
cylinders, maritime
firearms.
cups, all that.
So cool.
So NDZ has a store on there. The Glock store itself has a store on there. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of the Glock store, you know, you can buy tungsten guide rods on there. You can buy everything the Glock store sells except for the customization stuff on eBay. And once again, you every now and then you will have the option to make an offer or bid on it. And bidding is exactly what it sounds. Typically, it's 7 to 10 days, and the best bid wins. And if it gets past a certain price, you're not comfortable with paying, just be done with it. You don't offer again. Now, one of my favorite sites that I just bought some ported Glock 27 and ported Glock 33 barrels from on eBay are Spectre Supply. Sorry. They have Glock 26 slides right now for $27. They just have to be fitted by a gunsmith. So if you know a gunsmith, buy 10 of those things. That gunsmith will fit them perfectly, and you now got a slide for $27, and you just have to pay them a little fee. Or if you know how to fit it yourself, $27 for a Glock slide is absolutely ridiculous. And they had some black ones for $47. You just need to have them fit by a gunsmith. So you'll find stuff on these stores that you'll never find anywhere else. I just ordered this from, I believe it was the River Supply. And they messed up my order and sent 2 of them. I messaged them. They said keep them. They don't even care. I bought this for $20. This knife that I've been using all week long. $20. Absolutely nice. Has a really nice sheath on it. There it is itself. $20.
What do you use a knife
for? 2 of
for?
them because they messed up my order. Absolutely awesome. Then on top of that, Red Tag Supply. Like I said, Boker knives. I just recently got introduced to Boker knives. They have their own store on eBay. For instance, from I believe it was Red Rivers, I think it was Red Tag Supply, I want to say, I bought this X grip from. I've never seen these anywhere else for the P2000 SK. And then I went and ordered the mag online because eBay can only sell 10 round mags and below. But I got the X grip on there. And look at this. I now have a 12+1 40 Smith & Wesson setup for my P2000 SK. I can carry as a backup. Super ergonomic and comfortable. I didn't even know they made X grips for the P2000. Also, you can't find a holster anywhere for the SK model. eBay. I found a model that has a little wedge built into it. It's not the monoblock, but it's something similar. A claw. And boom, my P2000 SK, a firearm that has 0 aftermarket support. I found all the support that I needed for it on eBay, which is crazy. Now, Red Tag Supply, what's interesting about them is they have over 220,000 items sold. When we talk numbers like that, we're talking 8 figures, $10+ million in sales just on eBay alone. That's how reputable these places are. And with that many sales, they're sitting at like 99.7% satisfactory rate. And the 0.3, I guarantee, are just haters, right? They ordered the wrong part. Something, you know, whatever the case may be. They didn't like it. It didn't run properly on their build. Those are the haters. But 99.7% out of 221,000 sales, making over $10 million, that's insane. All off of eBay.
Damn, that's pretty crazy. That's good to hear.
Now, in terms of websites that aren't eBay, Lucas Tactical. Lucas Tactical is great for frames. They sell just OEM frames. If you want to make a build, but don't want to have to go out and buy a brand new Glock 26 and then replace every single part, they sell just the frames. They sell parts kits. OEM parts kits is what I have in every single Glock. It doesn't matter. Maybe I'll have a ghost connector in there or a Trigger Shark trigger. And also on eBay, Trigger Shark is there. But don't use their store. Use Trigger Shark's website using code SPN and you'll save 15% off. And if you're looking for your average holster, use Blacksmith Tactical, code SPN for 10% off. But then there's NDZ. They have a website. So if you can't find it on their eBay store, go to their actual website. Then there's Henning Group. Let me see where my Glock 27 is. Henning Group. They make the best base plates in the industry other than SLR Rifle Works. So Henning Group. That's what you see here. They make them for CZs, Glocks, Glock 19s, Glock 26s, SIGs, Smith & Wessons, literally everything. And they're the most underrated baseplate company in the nation. They make the best quality sights, baseplates. Like I said, they have a lot of good stuff. So go check them out. That's Henning Group. Most people have never heard of them. I've never even talked to the company. I just buy a lot of stuff from them. Every person I've ever talked to who ended up buying them has really, really enjoyed their Henning Group products. Never a single issue. Then obviously there's XS sights. I love XS. They're my go-to defensive sights. As you can see right here, I have XS suppressor height sights for a really nice co-witness. Over here we got XS as well.
Guy loves
I
Glocks,
got a
man.
little bit of flapping going on these grips, but I'll just order another pair off of eBay probably. Then there's Granger Tactical. Granger Tactical.
I mean,
once again,
I know he
Glocks,
uses
you want to build a frame.
something else besides Glocks, but I'm just saying, like, Glocks looks like the thing he uses the most. Like, it's like the thing he's just obsessed with, which is cool. I mean, sometimes you need that. You need that Glock guy to help you out. If I buy a Glock, I'll go to this guy.
Then there's the Glock store. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan, but I have ordered base plates and stuff like that from them in the past. Typically, what I use them for is their barrels. They have some cheap barrels, and on eBay, on the Glock store, on eBay, they're selling double diamond barrels right now for $105. That's double diamond barrels for $105. And what I do like about Glock store is a lot of their parts are made really close in relation with Glock. They have some sort of relationship behind closed doors. And what that means is a lot of their parts are made cheaper and still function. And that's what's big in all this stuff. If you're making stuff, creating stuff, getting the handgun that you want, you need reliable parts like this. What do you call it? Extended slide stop right here. You can find stuff like that on Granger Tactical, the Glock store, and then the next one's Rifle Supply. Once again, frames, parts, that whole sort of thing. Then for actual full firearms themselves, I've shopped all over the place. My favorite four that I shop at are Bud's Gun Shop. They have an awesome used section, and they have really, really good deals on ammo, like Underwood and defensive rounds. They have a really good selection of defensive rounds. Then I also shop at PSA. PSA has a lot of good daily deals. Every day, I check Buds and PSA, and I check their daily deals, and I check their used section. And I see what we can find. That is where I found my HK P2000 SK in 40 for $4.99 out the door with a rebate. And the rebate was 4 mags. So I walked out of there with 4 9-round mags on top of the 2 that it came with, and an HK P2000 SK decocker model, which is the V3 model, for $500. Those mags are 40 to 50 alone. Absolutely unreal. Like I said, that was found on PSA daily deals. Probably would have never bought this handgun because typically speaking, these are $1,000, $800 to $1,000. I would have never bought it for that money because once again, I have stuff like a Glock 27 that's going to run you about $500, or used $300, $350, $400. But because it was $500, I had to jump on it, and I've been extremely.
I wonder like how many guns he has, like in different models. Let's see. Damn it. Jesus Christ. I just couldn't spell it right. There you go. And that's a pretty decent one. I'll watch some more videos. I think I watched so many of his videos. I mean, because like he's good. I mean, whether what I'm doing now, the guy, it's like simple videos that get to the point, which is very, very rare on YouTube. see. Anything else that might be interesting? Secret to honest engaging when you are live on Twitch. It becomes a successful Twitch stream. So I might have to watch that a little later. Honestly. Let's see. Come on, man. This gotta be something good. Alright. Well, I can unsubscribe from him because sound sucks. He used to be interesting, now he's just kind of a douchebag. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. On anything else I can watch? Let's play RPG. Best action RPG of the year. That might be interesting. Games of 2024. Alright, come on. This is the only bad part, man. I not gonna find good content right now. Let's see, there's gotta be something else, right? Hmm. Oh boy. Someone's liking Code Geass. That's always good. Code Geass is so fucking good. I'm manipulating the currency. Answers yet. Let's see. Cyprus had enough of Russia. Out. All right. Let's see what this. See this one.
In the shadow of the war between Ukraine and Russia, the main focus is now shifting towards the Mediterranean. With the removal of the regime in Syria, Russia is in danger of losing much of its power in the Mediterranean. The West, particularly the United Kingdom, is expanding its preparations to counter Russia's tendencies to reassert itself as an authoritarian power in the Mediterranean after the civil unrest in Syria. This is because Russia will want to refocus on the Mediterranean and Africa to provide economic resources for the Ukraine war. But the UK's military power in Cyprus seems to be a deterrent to Russia, which has already lost its power in Syria from such ambitions. We will now take a deeper look at Russia's new desire.
All right, that makes sense. I mean, let's see. That still makes a lot of sense, especially Russia needs a lot of resources for the war economy, and Cyprus is a good place. Cyprus and Malta.
Mediterranean course, how the UK is trying to thwart Putin's plans through Cyprus, and how the Kremlin is losing ground most recently by withdrawing its military forces from Syria. Before we start, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications, and give us a like to stay up to date with our content. Let's start with the UK's blockade of the Mediterranean route that Russia is trying to re-establish. Around 700 armed forces personnel are deploying to the RAF base in Cyprus to support the UK government's contingency planning, including Foreign Office and Home Office staff and Border Force officers. They join hundreds of troops already stationed on the island, where the UK has had 2 armed forces bases for more than 60 years. The UK's permanent military presence in the Middle East gives it a range of capabilities, particularly in the Mediterranean, including having previously conducted evacuation missions. Currently, the UK has 2 military bases on the island of Cyprus. In 1960, when Cyprus gained independence from the United Kingdom, as part of the treaty, the UK retained 2 sovereign base areas at Akrotiri in the southwest of the island and Dikelia in the southeast. The Akrotiri base is currently in the spotlight as it is home to the RAF fleet. In addition to the approximately 700 troops sent to RAF Akrotiri, the base already has a large number of troops deployed. Aircraft based there include RAF Typhoons and Puma helicopters. There are also 2 British warships in the area, which could be used against Russia if an evacuation or defense operation is ordered. Border Force and Foreign Office officials can also support the military. This UK military force in Cyprus has been on alert because of the problems in the Middle East. But in the wake of the recent events in Syria, these forces could also serve to prevent Russia's efforts to regain control of the Mediterranean and African routes. The West does not want Russia to gain economic interest in the Mediterranean in the wake of the Ukraine war. Therefore, as part of NATO doctrine, the UK could act to guarantee security against a surprise Russian move in the Mediterranean. However, looking at the current situation, it seems unlikely that Russia would attempt such a move. US and Libyan officials have reported that Russia has withdrawn advanced air defense systems and other sophisticated weapons from bases in Syria and shifted them to Libya.
Alright, BRB. Alright, I'm back. Let's see what the
as Moscow scrambles to maintain its military presence in the Middle East after the collapse of the Assad regime in Damascus. Russian cargo planes have flown air defense equipment, including radars for the S-400 and S-300 interceptor systems, from Syria to bases in eastern Libya controlled by Moscow-backed Khalifa Haftar, officials confirmed. Russia
Isn't he
has
also
also
backed by
significantly
Turkey as
reduced
well?
its presence in Syria, sending troops, military aircraft, and weapons out of Syria. The Syrian bases have been the cornerstone of Moscow's ability to project power in the Middle East and Africa, serving as a hub for the flow of troops, mercenaries, and weapons. The naval base in Tartus has been the only supply and repair point for the Russian Navy in the Mediterranean. Now, Russia seems to be trying to use another former partner in Libya as a way to maintain its influence in the region and support a naval presence in the region where the US and other North Atlantic Treaty Organization members have bases and warships. Russia already has a presence in Libya, including the Wagner
Being able to have something to always protect myself with this Verna allows me to have that peace of mind no matter.
A military group which has close ties to Haftar, whose Libyan National Army controls the east of the war-torn country. Wagner fighters have used Haftar's facilities, including his airbase, as transit hubs to other African countries. Last year, senior Russian officials met with Haftar to discuss long-term docking rights at the ports of Benghazi or Tobruk, both less than 400 miles from Greece and Italy. U.S. officials said at the time that Moscow was discussing whether to upgrade facilities in Tobruk to accommodate Russian warships. Haftar has for years sought air defense systems from Russia to strengthen his control over the divided country, which has been riven by violence since a 2011 uprising toppled longtime dictator Muammar Gaddafi. Armed groups and foreign powers have vied for power ever since, with a civil war erupting in 2019. The country is divided between factions in the east and west. Russia's wing is trying to exploit this situation to regain its lost control of the Mediterranean and Africa. Russia.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, like, Russia has a lot of support with several of the coup d'etats in Africa, especially against like former French colonies.
Russia's strategy in Libya is too dangerous to be underestimated. We can understand this danger more clearly by taking into account the relations that have taken place so far. Russia was inclined to forge a deep alliance with Egypt to counter U.S. efforts to control security in the Mediterranean. But as Moscow-Cairo relations deteriorated with Egypt's shift to the U.S. camp, Russian attention shifted to Libya. From 2008 onwards, the Kremlin increasingly signed billion-dollar contracts for arms supplies and railway projects.
What's up, comrade?
500.
What's going on? Let's see. You got PS Gaming 8. Hello there and welcome. Good to see you. I'm just doing some random reactions to random stuff, and I saw this interesting video about Cyprus, so I'm like, check it out. In Minecraft. How's that?
150 kilometers between Sirte and Benghazi, two strategic cities overlooking the Mediterranean Sea. At the time, Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi offered then Russian President Dmitry Medvedev the port of Benghazi as a permanent Russian base, as a counterweight to the United States. However, the Kremlin clearly reaped the most important benefits. For a permanent North African Mediterranean forward base solved the problems associated with long-term out-of-region deployments. Despite the fall of the Gaddafi regime in 2011, Russia has not taken its eyes off Libya. This was evidenced by its excellent relations with the current leadership of Eastern Libya, which often flew to Moscow or hosted prominent personalities linked to Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Hey, thanks for the shout out. How's the stream? Going well. I mean, it's been a little. It's been like I say, 4.5 weeks since I've done any reaction content. I was mostly playing games like Marvel Rivals, Dynasty Warriors 8, Yakuza. I need to get back into Nier and Dragon Age again.
Apart from the economic benefits of circumventing sanctions for the invasion of Ukraine, the ultimate goal seemed to be to open a Russian front in the Mediterranean due to Libya's strategic location. Arms shipments from the Syrian port of Tartus to the port in Tobruk were increasing, and the Russian physical presence was reported to have reached around 1,800 troops distributed in military bases such as Al-Karuba, Al-Hadim, Jufra, and Tobruk. Mercenaries belonging to the so-called African Corps, possibly a revitalization of the Wagner paramilitary.
Oh no. Hey! Damn, that's loud. I didn't think it would be that loud, my friend. Oh boy, man. Oof. That scared a little crap out of me. But thank you for the follow. I mean, doing this so he's a follow. Alright. Thank you for the follow. Alright, thank you for the follow, and just cause nice guy. You, Nikolai and Bart, rest forever in the hearts, the last and final. Hey, there you go. Thank you so much, PS Gaming. PS Gaming 8, there you go. A nice gift sub for you. And please, raise a glass to Nikolai and Bart. That's the least I can do. Give you some nice, ad-free, streaming. Whether you're streaming, reaction content or reacting to or playing games. If you're able to, please, renew your subs or renew a recurring monthly donation. Either one would be great, especially now in these trying times, especially in, going to 2025, because it's a lot harder to get secure ad revenue now. A lot of advertisers have been scared off thanks to certain YouTubers saying really bad things. Same thing happened with YouTube and TikTok and Twitter. So yeah, you gotta be very, very careful what you say and do.
Group by the Russian government were deployed in the towns of Gardabia and Al-Marj. Some observers reported the establishment of a training camp near Benghazi. Russia was looking for a stable base in Libya. There were several reasons for this. Russian ships could dock in front of the European coast, while the airfields allowed the deployment of Russian air weapon systems. The most potentially disruptive factor concerned new war technologies. But an important distinction must be made. If Russia's intention was to threaten NATO with any of these capabilities, it posed more risk to Russia than to the Western alliance. This is because NATO forces would probably be able to disrupt Russian operations in short order. If, as was more likely, these capabilities were intended to support Russian allies in North Africa, and elsewhere on the African continent, that was a different problem. But as we have discussed, Russia has lost control in Africa, and its naval power in the Mediterranean.
That one I did not. I'll try to keep the sub going as long as I can. Thank you. Thanks again. Oh, no, no, no. Thank you guys. I mean, I'm a Twitch streamer. I'm doing everything I can, but it's up to you, the people, you, the audience, to be here, to watch, to support, to give back, to give feedback. So, thank you guys so much. I mean, there's only so much I can do. So, it's a very important benefit. Oh no, whoops. Great. Go. Whew, there you go. I know that we all kind of freaked out a little bit, but please check out that my link tree if you want to see my social media page. I know hopefully somehow they stop the ban on TikTok. That'd be nice. Because I can finally start uploading stuff there again. I have not been uploading stuff because like in less than a month it's all gonna be gone. Any views, any donations, etc., etc., etc. will be gone. But hey,
has been decimated following the fall of the regime in Syria. So far, Russia has tried to increase its power in the Mediterranean through energy policies. Russia's efforts to overcome the oil sanctions related to Ukraine by selling oil through Libya were seen. Since 2022, the revenues have amounted to about $5 billion and flowed to Russia with the approval of Libyan Field Marshal Khalifa Haftar. This explains why Moscow has not yet collapsed after more than 2 years of sanctions and isolation. Putin's strategy must now be interpreted with a broader view of the entire African continent and all the countries that have recently entered Russia's orbit. One of the main actors to pay attention to is Niger, until last year a key ally of the United States, where a $100 million military base has been built, allowing drones to take off for reconnaissance and targeted military operations across the Sahel. This base was in danger of falling under Moscow's control, as were some ports in Sudan, vital for direct access to the Red Sea. Having an outpost in that region would give Moscow important strategic advantages.
That would be real bad, especially Sudan. Right here, right next to the Red Sea. I think it's like the Persian Gulf here. Yeah, it's not very good. All these ports here. You have like Djibouti. I think Djibouti's here, right? Eritrea. I think Djibouti's here. Eritrea. Yeah, Somalia down here. Yeah, that would not be good. That would not be good at all. Hello, let's see. Oh, hey, hi. Hey, I found you from the Streams to the Support Shadow server. Hey, nice to see you. Anthony's Revenge. You here? SOCOM 2 U.S. Navy SEALs? I haven't heard that game in years. Wasn't that from like the PS2 days? Wasn't that from the PS2 days? The old man. That sounds like a fun game to play.
These examples were a harbinger of Russia's potential on a continent where sanctions and the demands of the international community, especially the United Nations, are difficult to enforce, and where local sentiments about the Russia-Ukraine war differ significantly from those in the US and Europe. These were details that the Kremlin did not lose sight of, and Putin made great use of them, especially starting with Libya. The Kremlin was pushing its own people, whether politicians, professional soldiers, or private military contractors, to the African coast bordering the Mediterranean Sea and many countries below the Maghreb in a kind of pincer maneuver. But in an almost unthinkable scenario given current trends, the West reacted harshly to Russia's growing presence in Africa along the Mediterranean, making it difficult for Moscow to capitalize on it. But while Russia's attempts to spread propaganda and influence, control key resources, and exploit migration flows have been largely thwarted in the aftermath of events in Syria, the threats are far from over. Moscow may try to regain a foothold on the naval chessboard of the Mediterranean and the Red Sea.
How
This
so?
is because Western countries do not seem ready to impose themselves in Africa to limit Russia's advances and have failed to implement a containment strategy in countries like Libya, which has been decisive for the smuggling of arms, oil, rare materials, and migrants from the Sahel. France, which until recently had a leadership role in the Sahel, has been forced to abandon the entire region. This was also the case for the European UCAP mission. The U.S. military mission could face major challenges, as recently stated by General Michael Langley, the commander of AFRICOM. Moreover, U.S. interest seems to be shifting more towards China than Russia. Russia is seen as a lower-level competitor. This is because after the removal of the Syrian regime, Russia has less threatening forces and control structures in the Mediterranean and Africa. While this is true in absolute terms,
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, China has been spent many years, I think 10+ years, investing a lot of money in Africa. America has done that as well, same with Europe, so those three are competing. Russia's doing it a little bit, but not as much. It's mostly just, I need a base, I need to move troops, move weapons. Not really much investments in, like, the actual country itself.
the Kremlin can still do a lot of damage, as was clearly demonstrated in Libya between 2019 and 2020. This possibility should not be underestimated. Fortunately, at this point, the UK and US naval presence in the Mediterranean is still standing firm against Russia's efforts to resurrect its lost power in the Mediterranean with Syria. When we look at the history of Russian strategy in the Mediterranean and the current state of affairs in terms of naval rivalry, there are of course elements that reassure the West. Russia has never had a Mediterranean fleet. Even on paper, Russia's naval strategy has always been continental, and at best, aimed at the northern seas and oceans. Control over the Mediterranean has often seemed out of reach. Russia's physical naval presence was limited to its Mediterranean fleet, the 5th Escadra, which had been there since 1958. While trying to promote Moscow's interests and influence relations with regional actors, with the caveat of the 1936 Montreux Convention, which gave Turkey control of the sea's entrance straits. Its primary goal was to build a naval contingent capable of rapid intervention in the Black Sea. The Mediterranean and the Black Sea were historically considered by many Russian elites as a single body of water. As the leading Black Sea power, then, the Soviet Union had to extend its influence into the adjacent waters. Admiral Ivan Kasatonov, commander.
Let's see. Yeah, they have a good presence in the Black Sea, of course. That's why the Mediterranean is going to be much harder because they had to go through, what's that? There's Bulgaria, there's Turkey, there's Cyprus, there's Greece. Just to name a few countries that aren't a big fan of Russia.
Of the
I
Black Sea Fleet in the early
that makes
1990s
sense.
argued in a speech to the crew of a submarine in Vlor, Albania, during the Soviet Navy's first extended deployment in the Mediterranean, that even his sailors fully understood the importance of a naval presence in the Mediterranean. Ivan Kapitanets, another admiral and chief of staff of the 5th Escadra from 1970 to 1973, stated that a naval presence in the Mediterranean was necessary to defend the interests of the motherland. Both officers reflected the doctrinal thinking of the main Soviet naval leader of the time, Fleet Admiral Sergei Gorshkov. Gorshkov's concepts of strategic mobility and forward deployment shaped the Soviet presence in the Mediterranean. Such aspirations were put into practice through a series of Cold War-era agreements with Mediterranean littoral states. In fact, in 1958, Albania opened the port of Vlore to Soviet submarines, expanding Russian access to the Adriatic. This arrangement did not last long, however, and in 1961 the Soviet port was closed. The total number of days all Soviet ships spent in the Mediterranean dropped from 5,600 in 1960 to 2,300 in 1961 and 600 in 1963. The Soviets gained access to the ports of Alexandria, Marsa Matruh, and Port Said in Egypt, and Latakia in Syria. By 1971, this new access had increased the USSR's presence by 300%. However, this would be undermined by the deterioration of relations with Cairo under Egyptian President Anwar Sadat, who was even denied access to the port of Marsa Matruh when Russian ships were there. The Soviets lost their Egyptian ports for good in 1976. In Syria, they expanded as far as Tartus, a presence that persists to this day. But Syrian ports were then small, poorly equipped, and unsuitable for large ships, or to support the expanded operations of the Russian Navy.
Okay. So it looks like even back then, during the Soviet Union times, Russia tried to have a presence in the Mediterranean, but it's not easy. It's not easy to maintain that because not many friendly ports, and it's very easy for countries to switch sides, especially during the Cold War, or they just don't have the equipment to handle warships, which makes sense.
They are still considered unsuitable for Russian ships, but this is no longer relevant for Russia. As we mentioned, the recent events in Syria have completely halted Russia's naval presence and control in the Mediterranean. All these moves took place under the UK's close supervision by the US. Unlike Russia, the US has always had a stable presence in the Mediterranean through the US Sixth Fleet. This presence was ensured by the port bases of La Maddalena and Naples in Italy, Rota in Spain, and Crete in Greece. The UK wing, through Cyprus, has always provided peace in the Mediterranean as part of the NATO strategy, like the US, against Russian and other threats. In short, although Russia is trying to regain its former power in the Mediterranean through Libya, the military deterrent forces of important NATO countries, such as the UK and the US in the region, as well as the Kremlin's forced withdrawal of almost all its military resources in Syria, are shattering Putin's dreams. The only reality now is that Russia is no longer a major power in the Mediterranean, but rather a country watching from the background. We have already mentioned that.
Okay, let's see. Any interesting comments? Alright. I want to watch some more stuff. I feel like, I'm getting there, People are enjoying my content, people are having fun. So I want to keep on, I want to react to something else. Any suggestions, please let me know. Anything with me? Let's see, anything here? Come on. Man, look at fucking Asmongold there, just being really happy about, homeless people being banned. I think I Like You is my new obsession. Alright. Check this one out.
Okay. Damn it. I've been shot. With the oval. Oh. Call the ambulance.
I haven't seen this guy in a while.
We talked about this. No ovals in this office. Moving on. Who is Bradley? Wait, wait. Wait, that got really intense. Hold on. I thought this was just typical thirst trap stuff, but then you bring in the collar and the leash? What does that say? It says Bradley. Who's Bradley? Who's Bradley? Who are you seeing? Who are you seeing? I'm taking your horny away. Oh no.
You saved me. Why? Monkey. You saved me. Why?
The angle! 5-year-old me just wanted ingredients for my famous grasshopper soup. Oh, shit. Run, grasshopper, run! Me, I'm so glad I can safely walk around at night. My boyfriend protecting me. Oh, the dynamic! Damn. So him is with him. Are we gonna... Is that correct? Is that the dynamic that we're going for? Hell yeah, that's hot. I'm all for it. Let's go. Oh, it's called I Need a Big Boy. Dots. Long beads. Toonie. Big. Very big. Bro, why are you so eyes? Alright.
Ah, goddamn. Fucking ads.
I chose Texas Southern University because I...
Wow. I'm alive. Thank you. I think some of us needed that. Some of us needed that. Bravo, artists. Oh my god, we got the pancakes and... Oh, what is going on?
Oh no!
We can't make that joke. Still feels too soon. Stop. Why? This is gonna be a furry. It's gonna be a fursuiter. There's a first. It's not even. That's not even furry related. Italian fur posting. That's like my favorite pastime. I put on my pajama pants and then I go to the grocery store and I get like some chocolate oranges for Christmas because that's my favorite. So if anything,
Why is everyone wearing freaking pajama pants?
Oranges, okay? Are you listening? Hey,
I thought in sweats, man. It's straight up pajamas.
Chocolate oranges for Christmas, okay? Oh no 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 no.
That's so weird to me.
How old is that meme? Make myself cringe sometimes. But baby, it's okay to cringe. Cause I'm a furry. Hey, look at that furry. I hate furries. Did you kick her out of the car? Is she okay? Oh, she's fine. She's just a little sad. Don't worry about her. Oh, I know this guy. I wasn't even like reading the text. Hold on. This is why I don't watch too much TikTok. You're cute and salty. Okay. OMG. You are so adorable. Such a pretty boy. Prettiest of boyos.
You don't need to see some.
Alright. Okay. It's because of the spots. It's the spots, honey. Oh no, I'm way behind on reports. His typing speed is 10 words per minute, which is pretty impressive when you don't have opposable thumbs. What's that? What is that? Is that a vape? Honey. You can't vape here. You can't vape here.
I don't think that's a vape.
You can't vape here.
It might be two things. It looks like a needle. It could be like an EpiPen, or they are shooting themselves up with some hormones. They're gonna transgender, man. They're gonna get some big fat titties. Like,
Holy shit, that was so loud. Hey, you can't vape here. What the fuck? I can't believe Italians saw this and then moved to New Jersey. What? Is there Italian fur posting lore that I'm missing? Did one of you guys move to New Jersey? I need to investigate. I found nothing on the records. I'm gonna break into the Italian archives. Still nothing. I can only type 10 words per minute, which is pretty impressive, actually. But bulge. Oh my gosh, dragons these days. Get your mind out of the gutter. Here, I got you something. Huh? Squish. Squish, 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 squish. Oh my god, I always wanted one of those when I was a kid. I still want one. Guys, Christmas present, okay? We're making a list.
I throw it back. No, man, you gotta throw it back, bro. Oh my god, throw it back! Throw the damn fish back!
What the... Bro, the way that they shake the camera with the audio, the way that he's thrusting towards the dead fish on the ground, and the yelling... Wait. Hold on. Context. Yaperture? What is that? This looks like it's from a convention. Okay. Damn it.
look at that. Look at that low cut. Look at that low cut, man. Look at that low cut shirt. You can see his abs, but look at that booty, my friend. Look at that booty. He got a nice booty. Flat pancake booty. You got something right there. You got something there, Mr. Floof Husky, with your crown and stuff. I remember you. I haven't seen your ass in years, but
They got me, boys. They got me.
you also look like Sea Stalker. No, wait.
Call the ambulance. Okay, but hear me out.
Bye.
Okay, but hear me out. That's me trying to act, okay? I know I don't do it very well, but other times I do a really good job, okay? Sometimes you gotta pat yourself on the back for doing a good job, and I'm doing a good job. Thanks. I try so hard. Okay, here we go. So we have a husky. Yes, it's a husky. It's not a wolf. It's a husky. See the curled tail? Oh, it's a wolf. Whoa. I bet that dog is gonna be making good friends with that frog. Coming back to him like a drug dealer the rest of his life. What have you done, frog? He's gonna be dependent on you, frog. You better not pass away.
That's actually kind of funny.
Package for you to sign. Oh. Bye. Bum, 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 da-da, da-da, da-da. Wait, what do you mean, meanwhile in another universe? Does that mean that there's an original comic? I need to investigate. We're putting on our Sherlock Holmes hat, and we're investigating into this Sherlock Holmes meme. Wow, that's a pretty good one. What does that say? What does that say? CLMZ. Oh, it says grab. It says grab. Because he's grabbing his collar. He grabs his collar and he puts it on. Click, click, click. Tap, 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 tap. Oh my god, that is so cute. Oh my god, that is so cute. I need to have a collar myself. Christmas item number 3. Let's go. 3 type farts. Emo. Okay. It's already a lot. That's a lot. Silly. Riz times 2. I feel so Sigma. Dirty mind. Or you could be all 3. If you really put your mind to it.
That's true. That's like most furries I know are just freaking broke, so they never have any money to buy any art. But like, they always try to bum money off of me. And I know the super rich, super mega rich furries who can buy like $2,000, 3D, art. I'm like, god damn, man. And like that 3D art is so good, so freaking hot. And then you got the ones somehow are able to go to all the cons and get all the Riz and all that, but nah, not me.
Oh my god, this is literally me. Oh my god, this is literally me. Hold on. I'm not gonna read it yet until I put on my foot paws. My hand paws. Stop! Welcome to my channel! Today we're gonna be doing an unboxing video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Is crawling to the recycling bin.
Because what the cardboard is. Uh-oh.
What's going on? You good? Camera? Thank you.
That was not me. His camera unblurred himself.
Joke's over. Go home. Speaking of, I think this video should probably be over. So if you like the video, make sure to leave a little thumbs up. And if you want to see more stuff that I do in the future, make sure to hit subscribe. I also stream full-time on Twitch, so go ahead and check me out there. I'm trying to hit a milestone. Trying to hit 5,000. That's a little high. Trying to hit 2,700 subscribers. Followers. That's it. Also, I'm selling some merch. This is the Curl Gang crop top. Gym girl on the back of it. So you should go and get one because it's very comfortable and it's actually.
All right, and there you go. That's where I'm gonna end my stream. All right then. Who will get it? Who will get the raid? Who will get the raid? Oh man, that was a lot of fun. I haven't done any reaction streams in a while, so it's good to do that. Please, people, if you like what you see, please follow me, support me. If you're able to, watch my stuff on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and that type of stuff. That'd be great. Alright guys, thank you guys so much. Hopefully you are enjoying what you're seeing, what you're doing. Please come out and support me. I will do my best to go back to gaming content as well. I get back into Dynasty Warriors, Yakuza, Dragon Age, and Nier. Thank you guys so much. Please keep on supporting me. Keep on showing some love and honor and some respect. Thank you guys so much. And please don't be mean to yourselves. Love yourselves, because I know I love you guys. You guys love me. Please, let's make 2025 the greatest year for me ever. I want more subscribers and followers. Love you guys. Goodbye.